Welcome to episode 11 of Standard Issue Tees Behind the Seams. Today's guest, I got 20 plus years of friendship with, 20 plus years of mutual interest and respect. This gentleman has so much history in so many of the things that influence today's cultures, from sneakers to skateboarding to fashion to music to art to agricultural influences. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. You know, obviously skate, you have brands like Supreme and stuff that are obviously at the upper echelon, the top tier of what is this integrated high fashion skate streetwear kind of world. But going back, I'm gonna take you back to about 1998. This brand emerged that was purely based in hardware, but the tees were so fucking hard to get in a skate shop. The team roster was huge, but it had only the top tier skaters at the time, Jared. Mm-hmm. Like literally all your favorite skaters from Girl, Chocolate, World Industries, Menace, like the best of the best was compiled in these ads on these team lists, and you would just see all these names. And when an ad would come out, it was like a chapter in skateboard royalty was being presented that month. A lot of my old heads skated for it. So obviously I couldn't get the tees from the skate shops because they would sell out that quick. But when my old heads would get their boxes in, I would steal one or two from them. They'd always be a size or too big for me. I was, little at that time, 1998, 1999, 2000. And this brand is founded in the Bay, made its way down to Los Angeles, and it was put together by one man, Mr. Nick Tershay.
Welcome.
So right I hope that was
Thanks for the intro, bro.
I had to, man, because there's so much information out there. Every day there's a new brand, every day there's a new collaboration, and I think sometimes it's easy for us to forget the brands that really, really helped create these foundations. I think yours is particularly interesting and important because you come from from Frisco skate. You skated for brands like Think and Venture. Like that part doesn't get spoken about too often. And then, me coming to LA and watching you build everything and build this thing that we knew is, help really contribute to this world of streetwear is like, it's important, man. So that's why I couldn't believe, I was like, then we got to get Nick on the show. And I hit you and you're like, I'm busy right now. But I was like, then we have a lot of history together, man. So, I will explain to you today how far this gentleman and I go back. So thank you for coming on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
What year did Diamond start?
98.
1998.
Yeah.
So with the bolt.
With the bolt idea. I had an idea for a bolt. And then with the idea of the bolt, I started working on making the bolt in Asia because no one here can make it. I tried making it here first and it was super expensive. It was a special.
There was a particular
double Allen key.
Yes, that's what it was. Yes.
Yeah, because back then the thing is that boards were just breaking left and right. Skating at EMB and all the stuff, right? Like everyone was breaking their board, and it was during a time where it was the thing where everyone was focusing their boards. So
you know what that is?
No.
You purposely break your board. It's the most selfish thing to do. But pro skateboarders we're selfish people. So
so focusing was a big thing back then. It was like you don't land a trick a couple times, you get frustrated, you break your board. It was just a thing. Easy way to, take your board apart to switch it to another board, taking off your trucks from your board would be 2 little Allen keys instead of having a wrench and a screwdriver or whatever. That was my thought. So I came up with this invention to make this special double Allen key hardware. And I came with the name Diamond and then started making t-shirts and hats.
Before you actually had the bolt?
Yes. Before I had the
patented or anything.
Yeah. Before. And I did it for 2 years selling t-shirts and hats before the bolts even came out. So I was selling it in San Francisco. I sold to, I was making them in SF. The t-shirts, my boy had a t-shirt printer. I was shipping stuff out of FTC, the skate shop. I worked there in San Francisco. So I was shipping stuff out of there, and we sold to a distributor in Japan. That was my first account. So first person to ever get diamond stuff was Japan. And then we sold to FTC and we sold to Supreme.
Just direct.
Yeah.
Just phone call.
Yeah.
No line sheet.
Yeah. Like we only sold to FTC, Supreme, and this fucking distributor in Japan. And that was it.
No order form. Just like, look, I'm just going to send you what I got.
Basically. Those were our stores. And then we started selling to more in the Bay Area. And during that time, it was just, I was sponsoring all of our friends that were pro skaters.
So
giving them free t-shirts. They were wearing it in magazines, all this shit. I'm still working on this boat. We have this supposed hardware company with no hardware for 2 years in San Francisco. But somehow miraculously, the brand was getting like, everyone was wearing it. So it was in like every new skate video that came out, like magazines, you'd see Diamond and people were like, this new bolt company with no hardware.
Jared, there was probably 50 team members. Like to most skateboard companies, you got a starting 5 probably, right. You know, board companies, you get 5 to 10, maybe 12, but there was 50 of these motherfuckers and it was all of the best guys.
Yeah.
That's how it
started.
But so I guess the reason why you are able to compile such a big team of all awesome people, these are all people that you cross paths with skating growing up in the Bay, right?
Yes.
I'd assume.
Yeah. Everyone on the team was my friend. Like everyone that we sponsored was just people that I grew up skating with.
Yeah.
Cause like EMB during the 90s. I mean, I go way back. I go way back before that. Like I'm old, but you know, I was skating. I started really skating. I always had a skateboard my entire life, ever since I was little, like little plastic ones and shit, because my mom used to surf. I had cousins and uncles that were riding around on plastic skateboards in the 70s and shit. So then when I was born, I always had a skateboard. But then when I was 10, I got my first real skateboard, which was like a legit board. And then from there, that was jump ramp era, street plants, all that stuff. EMB was after that.
Joey is older or younger?
Older.
So for those that don't know, Nick's got a brother who's has contributed a lot to skateboard industry as well. His name's Joey Tershay. I met Joey. Joey put me on Independent, which was like dream truck sponsor for me. In the early 2000s, gave me an ad.
Yeah, Andy was my first sponsor too.
Yeah, Joey was the fucking man.
Rick Blackheart was the team manager.
Damn.
Before Joey became the team guy. Yeah,
and then the new team manager after Joey never called me back. I was heartbroken.
Wow,
but
crazy.
But so for those that don't know, Frisco. I mean, I would gotta say, you know, like LA obviously gets the credit for the creation of skateboarding and skateboarding crews. But in terms of like city street skating, most New Yorkers, when they went west, they went to Northern California. A lot of Southern California skateboarders would go spend time up in the Bay, and they created that bridge for Bay skaters to come down and skate LA. So you have like this, and even skaters from Philly, they would go spend time in Frisco. So you're meeting all of these guys, and you guys are kids at that point, huh?
Yeah, young ass kids. I mean, you're talking like very early 90s. Like very early.
Big
like
clothes.
90, 91, 92. Like that's when we were all doing
huge pants.
Huge.
Barely covering your shoes.
Huge pants. Fucking Puma Clydes, Jordan 1s, Adidas shell toes.
Puma Clyde, yeah. Shouts to Puma. Puma Clyde, yeah.
Yeah. Shell toes. Not a lot of us were even skating Vans back then, except for like half cabs, full cabs first. Cut them off. We used to cut the full cabs into half cabs before half cabs existed. Javante, I think, was the first one to ever do that. He'd cut them and duct tape duct tape around the tops. But yeah, skate fashion was different back then.
That's sick.
If that was called fashion.
No,
we didn't know. We just liked the baggy ass clothes.
I mean, when you see these pictures of like golden era EMB, it's like you can just tell how special it is. You'll see pictures. Someone just had posted a picture. I think it was on Market Street. I think Kelch did. And you can just tell how much soul and, you know, just how special of an era it was to skating. So what year do you think you skated for Think?
90. Let's see. Probably got on Think around 91. Somewhere around there until like 95.
So when you're done skating for Think, is that where your mind starts to make a switch in terms of like, I want to build a company that's rooted in skate, or just was it more of like an organic idea that you put some energy to?
For me, it was just the whole design thing. I always liked making shit. I was always like the kid who was cutting up his clothes and making shit out of, you know, like sewing a zipper on a flannel at home with the needle and thread, like just doing that type of stuff. Sewing patches on hats and making it my own. So I started doing that. I did that like like for Think, I was coming up with ideas when I skated for them, and then they'd make the shit that I would like design on paper or whatever. And, it'd be like a good seller for them. So by doing that, I was like, oh damn, I could just make my own shit. Right. Yeah. So, I was fucking around with graphics on a computer from, Al, you know my boy Al Sketch?
Yes, yeah.
So Al, he's from EMB too. He used to go to the Academy of Art in San Francisco, and he basically taught me how to do graphics back then. And I'd go into his class with him sometimes, and just like,
what were wasn't it Illustrator? Because it's not Illustrator.
It wasn't Illustrator. Yeah, it was way back. I don't even remember the name, but you know, our computers were like big box, shitty things. He actually helped me design my first Diamond logo. So
the script is legendary, yo.
Thanks.
The script is like, I mean, I don't know, just from the era that we come from. If you saw the script sticker holds just as much weight to me as a box logo.
Thanks, bro.
It really does. The T-shirt is just, to me, those two are synonymous with one another. You know, so
25 years this year.
That's true. Oh, nice. 25 years.
Yeah, congrats. 25 years. So with that, what happened really with that is that with Diamond is that me and Al talked about doing a clothing company together. And we came up with all these names, and they were like, you know, we were all into like Polo and Nautica and Tommy Hilfiger and all that stuff back then. And we were like, you know, Eddie Bauer, like on that vibe. So we were going to do something called like HTR. I don't know. It was like supposed to mean heritage.
Gotcha.
We're going to do heritage clothing, right? This is 96, right? So I'm fucking around on graphics. We made a bunch of logos, all the stuff. And then I ended up dipping from SF. Something happened. I went to Santa Cruz for a year. My dad lived there. So I went to Santa Cruz, lived with him. And that's when I came up with the idea for the bolts.
Gotcha.
And then I moved back to SF in 97. And came up with the name Diamond in 97.
Where did the name come from? Because the name, and I've always told you this. I've told you this for 20 some years. The name Diamond in itself is so special.
It's so good.
Thanks, man.
You know,
yeah.
It's so, all right. This is how special it is. and because to me, this is speaking from the soul, from the heart. Like with how big, like say for example, right now the Tiffany Air Force is so huge. For years, Tiffany as a company wasn't that hot.
Yeah.
You adopted the color, and to me, were the coolest thing about Tiffany. You took, you know what I'm saying, kind of like blended up this thing, this little DNA of theirs, and made it something really special, you know.
I guess. I mean, we definitely were the first ones to introduce it out to street skate culture.
Yeah, broader.
Like, what is Tiffany and Co? But you know, it's like rich.
Yeah, they made like cutlery
it's a
and
rich
stuff.
Thing. Like no one fucking knew what that was. I just like the color.
Yeah,
that's why we did the shoe colorway. Was that because I made a t-shirt in that color and everyone liked it. So then I was like, when I had the chance to design the Nike, I just used that color too, because people seem to like it, but I wasn't even like thinking anything.
Those are the natural ideas.
I didn't even call it the shoe wasn't called a Tiffany. It's a Diamond Dunk SB. But when I posted online, people just started calling it that because of the color, because it was similar. So it just gained that nickname, and I didn't like it.
You didn't?
No, because people kept saying Tiffany Dunk. And I'm like, it's a Diamond Dunk. It's not a fucking Tiffany
I'm gonna get in
Dunk.
trouble. Yeah. You're taking my thing. Yeah, gotcha.
So for a long time, I'd always say that on the internet, like, because I was, on the blogs and shit early on.
We're gonna get to that.
Hold on,
that's another chapter. We're still
definitely the Diamond.
We're like at the end of chapter 1. That's like chapter 4 here.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Let's continue.
So where does the name come about?
Sade.
Get out of here.
Smooth Operator. The song Diamond Life is like one of the first words out of her mouth at the beginning of the song.
Get the fuck out of here.
Diamond Life.
All these years, I never know that. I mean, I have the Sade shirt,
but that's, we did that and got sued. But I made that shirt with Sade because of the inspiration of that's where the name Diamond came from, was from that song Smooth Operator, and it's on that album Diamond Life. So she says Diamond Life at the beginning of the song. And as soon as I heard that, like literally, as soon as it came out of her mouth, even though I've heard the song a million times before, I was like, Diamond Life. I'm going to fucking call this shit Diamond. We're going to live the Diamond Life. Like that was like a whole thing.
I like that.
And I made the logo the next day.
Damn. That's sick.
Very next day, I drew the logo and Al scanned it into his computer.
Script.
Yeah.
The script is so good.
Yeah. Thanks.
So that's late 90s, moving into the 2000s. And at that point, sneaker culture in the Bay is already bubbling, right?
Oh, crazy. Yeah. From way back.
True.
Sneakers was always a thing.
What were the early sneaker shops up there that you used
Nike
to go
Town, really, for all the Jordans. It used to be on Market Street. And Copeland's, Copeland Sports on Market Street. Sneaker actual stores were a few. There was like Adidas Harputs on Fillmore.
I never knew about that one.
Yeah, there's just some OG ass stores, but where Jordan releases and stuff were at Copeland's and at Nike Town.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
Jordan's.
I used to get all my shit at Copeland's though.
Where was Copeland's at?
On Market, like 4th, 3rd in Market.
So close,
right there by you.
Close to EMB then.
Street.
Close to EMB.
Super close.
Damn. So right there.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
So, and then what year, at that point, what year did you end up coming down to LA?
2000.
2000.
Yeah.
Right around the same time I started coming here.
Yeah. So, when I had the company, I was doing it at, there was another sneaker store on Powell Street that was next door to this. It was right next door to this pizza place called Blondie's, but I forget the name, but they used to have all the Jordans too.
True wasn't open yet?
No, way before True.
Gotcha.
So then True used to be like, in that spot used to be the extra large store.
On Haight. Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of introduced me to streetwear back then. It was like extra large, and there was a couple other little stores on Haight that sold like artists' t-shirts, like graffiti artists and shit like that. So I was all into that stuff too.
Yeah.
Back in like very early 90s, but I didn't even know what streetwear was.
I remember the True 97s. It was a brown, tan, and speckled.
Shoes. Yes,
that thing course. Was. I remember when we got that at Ubik in Philly, I was like, this thing is crazy. What the fuck is True? And then like at that point, I think Ige was working at Huff. And so Ige would start sending me shit. And then I start putting the pieces together like, oh, this guy's been tapped into the Bay for a long time.
That's like way after.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then doing Diamond out of my house, out of my apartment in San Francisco, for 2 years, still didn't have the bolts. I got offered to get distribution at a girl. So, I literally packed up my fucking house that day and called the U-Haul and moved to LA the next day.
This is Mike and Rick are like, yo, we'll help you with this thing.
Yeah. They were like, we'll help you do Diamond. The shit's sick. Like everyone's rocking.
They were team riders.
Here.
Everyone Girl and Chocolate rode for it.
And they lived in LA, and I was like, fuck, man, I'll just move to LA for a year. I love the Bay, right? I was like, I'm never leaving the Bay. I'm gonna live in San Francisco forever.
Yeah.
Like,
that's like me with Phil. I'm never leaving. Why would I live there?
Exactly. So I was like, I'm gonna move to LA for a year, get it started, and come back. I ended up being at Girl for 6 years.
Damn.
Yeah, I was at Girl for 6 years trying to make it happen. And then, just making t-shirts and shit, made the bolts.
At this point, are you packing the boxes in there and everything? Is it one-stop shop or do you have team?
They had warehouse people.
Gotcha.
But Diamond was a one-man team. Right. I was just me at a desk in the warehouse. I didn't even have an office. They just gave me a desk and put it in the actual warehouse. And I was
Royal's in there at this point as well?
Before Royal.
Okay, gotcha.
I think.
All right. Yeah, Royal might have came a little bit later.
Maybe. But there was 4-star, there was Girl, there was Chocolate. And
Diamond.
Ruby was a women's clothing.
Ruby. Yeah, I forgot about Ruby. That's it.
Megan's clothing company. And then when I went to Girl, which was really cool, see, all these things that happened is what kind of made Diamond what it became. Because being there, Mike Leone. Do you know Mike Leone?
Yeah.
And back then he had a brand called Commonwealth Stack.
Yeah.
And he just made t-shirts and shit and sold it online. This is like 2000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sell online? Like, what do you mean? Right. He had that. And then Andy Mueller was there too. And he had a brand called Quiet Life.
Yep.
Still has
Shout
it.
to Andy. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the greatest art directors ever.
Yes. So they really inspired me to a world outside of skateboarding. So I was like, what do you mean online? I'm like, how do people know about your company and they're buying it online? He's like, yeah, we make these little fucking pamphlets and all this shit and they're selling stuff online. I was like blown away by that.
When you think about think about what our tools of marketing were back then, like especially for skate, you had to either be in Thrasher, Slap, Transworld or Skateboarder. You know, you had to get endorsed by one of the big companies.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have that, everything else was like,
yes,
that was, there was no other outlets.
The only way for people to see my brand was if I ran an ad in a magazine, Thrashers or Slap or Transworld, or if people were just wearing the shit in a skate video or in the magazine in a photo wearing it.
We forget
There's no other way.
But then it's like we forget how important and big word of mouth really was back then. To me, that's the best form of marketing. It's like is word of mouth. But back then, like how do we expect people to know about this shit? And they're gonna go on the World Wide Web and buy this T-shirt or something.
I don't even know how these guys were getting people to buy it on their websites. I guess they were sending out like an actual physical pamphlet or something that says go on this fucking thing and buy it. And then, when I was at Girl, doing that, I started designing without skateboarding in mind when I was making these t-shirts. So I was like, skate shirts back then were like mad simple.
Yeah.
Very early 2000s, like Girl logo, Transworld, like how shit is now.
Yeah.
Right.
It speaks to the simplicity of what skateboarders gen.
So in my mind, I was like, I'm thinking 80s. I'm thinking, what was shit that I liked when I was a little kid. And plus I was thinking old punk rock shirts and like stuff like that. And I was like, I'm going to make all these gigantic graphics.
Yeah.
Nobody was doing it. So I made the big ass fucking Misfits thing.
So as I say, and here comes the cease and desist and the lawsuits, right? Because that's what. All right. So moving into this chapter, you had back then, like at least to me, the uniform was a big ass fitted hat. You had this this T-shirt on that had a statement. Your jeans were baggy or dark denim, and then you had your footwear statement. But your T-shirts from Iron Maiden, the Misfits, Sade, Marilyn Monroe. Like there were these. How did you even find printers that could?
They've never printed like that before.
There's like
I had to go to the printers and like fucking we'd work on trying to see how big they can
come on. Let me show you this, Jared. If I showed
they'd be like, we can only go 10 inches.
If I said, Jared, I want you to make this, what the fuck would you say to me?
In 2000?
Yeah. But for how difficult it was, the printer, the pricing for the print back then was still relatively cheaper, was it not? Affordable? Not cheaper, but affordable.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we kind of started introducing like gigantic graphics.
Look at that. Look how big that diamond is on your zipper up.
Yeah.
I got all the pictures in here.
Yeah. So people just at the time weren't doing big graphics, but obviously they were before, you know, like 80s, people were doing big ass graphic shirts.
Look at that.
But then,
which we shot these in Nick's house. We'll get to that, but
yeah. So that kind of just like got people interested in diamond. They were like, what the fuck is this? What are all these crazy t-shirts? So our t-shirts started doing really good.
Misfits was amazing. Iron Maiden, amazing.
All those started
King Diamond
off. Yeah.
What are your, like, give me your top 5 favorite from that era that you did
from back then?
Yeah. Because all the streetwear dads, this is going to hit home for them.
Obviously the Iron Maiden one, which is called Run and Shit.
Yeah,
it just said Diamond instead of Iron Maiden.
Cease and desist
on that. Sade, cease and desist on that. It was just I made the art of her face. Even though I made the art, it was basically they sent me a cease and desist and said that it was her likeness.
All right. Yep.
So
makes sense.
That.
Misfits ever send you one?
Misfits too. Yeah. Cease and desist. That was a huge one for us. It was just the Misfits gold to gold.
I had that in every color, man. Every single color I could find it and I had it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's that. That was a collab with Rick from New York.
Oh, it was, huh?
Riok.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rick, that was actually his idea, that graphic. And he's like, let's make it a collab. And I was like, what's your brand's name? And he's like, Collab. And I was like, all right,
cool.
So he called it Collab NY. That's why on the original shirts, it says on the back, it says, but he wanted to make it just a regular size, like a Misfits gold,
that thing was huge.
And I was like, fuck that. And I just put on the computer.
It was chest cavity to waistline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did it like that. And then on the back, it said, Diamond Times Collab NY. But yeah, that was him. Then, what changed for me.
Hold on. Give me one more. I know there's some more in there that were.
Oh, there was a bunch, dude, but I can't remember. Yeah. Like, just
there's so many
crazy graphics. Yeah. I was just doing crazy graphics and shit like that. What changed a lot of things for me was when social media came out. So there was a thing called Friendster.
Yep.
So Friendster came out. This is pre-MySpace. Mm-hmm. Friendster came out. People were using it, to meet girls and, talk to friends. And I started posting pictures of my t-shirts. People were like, what the fuck? Like, this is sick. Like, and now I'm reaching all these people posting t-shirts. Then MySpace comes out and, what's it called? When MySpace came out is when I really built a community.
I saw that firsthand.
Yeah. And all the company people were tripping on me.
I saw that firsthand.
And kind of talking shit about me. Like, what's this Nick Diamond guy doing? Fucking, posting, like, it's so weird. He's like posting his pictures of his clothes and shit that he's selling on these social media sites. No one could wrap their head around it.
So I'm gonna pause you real
so
quick.
Weird.
So at the time, when I remember when ice cream comes out, at this point, ice cream is so shocking to the skate industry. There were a lot of people within the core community they didn't want any parts of it. They didn't want to touch it. They wanted to be, they wished they were part of something that big and they would have got down with it if the invitation was there. But to them, it was like, this is too much for us. One of the main people that really embraced me during that time in my life, which for as big as it was, it also had parts that were very I don't know, like I say lonely, you know? Nick really opened up his door to me. Like at that point, I'm coming to LA a lot. And Nick would say, Jimmy, here's the key to the crib. Stay here as long as you want. If he had multiple cars at the time, which he was one of the first people I knew with multiple cars, here's a wheel. You could drive. Anywhere, if I came into town, he'd pick me up from the airport. I'm staying with him. If he's going to dinners, if he's going to a club event, I'm rolling with him. But during that time, I'm watching him do two things. I'm watching him build this community on MySpace, and I'm also watching him actively communicate, talk, participate on the Hypebeast forums. And those were huge at that point. Like a lot of I would see, he would do this. Look, let me see, for example, Jimmy, I'd watch him mock a shirt up. 2 days later, get a sample, and then be like, Jimmy, do me a favor. Let me take a couple pictures of you with that on. What year is this? So that says 08. But there were even earlier ones.
Yeah.
The Marilyn Monroe one. And he'd literally take a picture of me in his fucking house, post a picture on MySpace and in the Hypebeast forum, and then the next day it would drop in the store, you know? Mm. And like, it was cool to me because it was like, I'd pull up and they'd be like, oh, Jimmy, we saw you. You already got the shirt, you know? So, that was super fun, man. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, it was awesome because I could see even people around you who were skate royalty, tripping out that like, they were watching you build this thing that was bigger, it was showing people how to create something in skate but promote it to a broader audience that was financially more sound for a company.
It was when Hypebeast first came out.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
It was literally when Hypebeast first came out. I was posting shit on, I was posting stuff on MySpace, and I built like this community of people on MySpace that were my fans of the brand. And I was just like posting all my new shit on there. So then when the Nike happened, same thing.
What year did the Dunk come out?
05.
05, gotcha.
So in 05, Nike, I got one sample before, I made changes on the sample. And then when I got the new sample, which was the final sample, because the second sample was the one. I had Andy Mueller from Quiet Life because he was in the office, right, like 3 offices over from me. I was like, he's like, let me take a picture of you with the shoe. And I'm like, cool, let me put on my shirt. So I already had the diamond shirt with the color, the Tiffany colorway, diamond blue colorway. And he took a picture of me, and this is like, I just got the sample. This thing wasn't coming out for almost a year. And what did I do? I posted it on my fucking MySpace and didn't think anything of it. I just had this community on there. Posted on my MySpace, leave work, go to Melrose, and Vlad.
His hat store.
No, before the hat store. Vlad and Arson had a women's sneaker store called Kendo. Named after Keenan Milton, R.I.P. They named it after our friend Keenan Milton, that was a skater for Diamond who passed away. They called it Kendo because that's what everyone used to call him. So they had that. I walked into the store and he's like, yo, what's up with the shoe? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, this is crazy. Check this out. And he's like, look at this sneaker forum, Soul Collector. And he like shows me, and there's like thousands of comments and everyone's talking about the shoe. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is insane. I didn't know about, I knew about Nike Talk. I heard of it, but I was never on it yet. And Soul Collector, never heard of it. He showed me, then he showed me all these other sneaker forums. And the shoe was going crazy.
We think that time period, especially so Nike SB comes out late 02, early 2003. Like at that point, maybe the Uncle Dunk had been out.
Was the Uncle out yet?
Yeah, maybe the Huff shoe.
Maybe.
But to obtain,
I don't remember like the years of these shoes.
I have a crazy dumb timeline in my head. It's like rap lyrics. But it's like to get that type of partnership, that point in the game was like, felt like you're reaching a whole different young brand universe,
I mean, even though we were out for a long time, we were super small. when we dropped that. But luckily, I already had this online thing going on MySpace and stuff. No other brands had that at the time.
I think it speaks to going back to that list of like being so tapped into skate, you know, and to like the real pioneers and the real, like the dudes, the innovators, the best dudes.
Yeah.
From a skate perspective, brands perspective, fashion perspective. Like
I think I resonated with a lot of the people that followed me on MySpace back then because I was super into Jordans.
Mm-hmm.
I was super into skateboarding. I was super into design, you know, and I'm just like posting about all this shit. I'm posting my sneakers. People weren't doing that.
Nah.
Yeah.
You had every Jordan back then too. I would go to his house and like, it'd be like, holy shit, yo, this guy's got every sneaker. Yeah. Like, it was a trip.
Well, I started collecting them way back. Like I had Jordan 1s and shit back then. But from the Nike post is where I really, a year later, maybe, is when Bobby Hundreds, I met Bobby, and then he told me I should get on this forum called Hypebeast.
Uh-huh.
So I went on there, and I was like, whatever, fucking forum. And I was like, oh, this is dope. People aren't posting pictures really except in this thing, but you don't have a profile. And I just made my own thread. I said, Diamond Supply Co. Right. And then all these people start talking on it. And I would just sit there for hours every day talking to all these kids. And our fucking thread that was Diamond Supply Co. grew to be like the biggest thing on
Remember who
there.
used to post all their music in there and used to hang out at the store every single fucking day?
Odd Future Kid.
Yeah. And then Tyler used to put all his music in there for like, Tyler's music lived in the Hypebeast forum for mad long before, I don't know, Urban Legend, I think they said Plain Pat or somebody, or got it to Clancy, but Tyler was bubbling in there too. It's like, it was this underground internet place that was cultivating talented people and brands and ideas and stuff.
So Soul Collector, Hypebeast forums, I had Diamond Supply Co. threads on there, and that's where I built my fan base. It was only there. I was on there, and then obviously I was on MySpace was still a thing. This was before Instagram and Twitter didn't happen yet. That didn't happen until 2009, right? Mm-hmm. So that's how I built all my fans, and that's when we opened our online store, and I started selling shit online. So back then I had to have been the first person to design a t-shirt, Photoshop it on a real shirt, drop it on the fucking...
Stowed up for pre-sale.
Drop it on the fucking...
The original antisocial.
Drop it on the Hypebeast forums and Soul Collector forums, be like, releasing tomorrow at fucking 2:00, and then...
I would watch it all.
Get all these orders and then have the printer print them and then ship them to people.
And the printer was shipping them too?
No, we would ship them. That's right. So the printer would make them all, then we would ship them. I think I was the first person to ever do that. But that was fucking...
No customer service department then. No. I'm shipping it. I'm not talking to you again about this ever again, huh?
No. So, that was a crazy time. And I was like, holy shit, we're fucking selling all this shit like this. This is insane.
That's a trip.
At retail instead of wholesale. Because at that time, we're only selling shit wholesale to like skate shops. So then we're making double the money selling it online. I was like, this is amazing. So I was doing that all the time.
Damn.
I was doing like once a week. I'd design a t-shirt and just drop it online and then make it after.
And the t-shirts would blow up. And you have to wait for a restock.
So that made us super popular.
Shirt.
And the fucking shoe came out and everyone was tripping on the shoe. And now we're this brand doing all this like internet viral shit, getting viral on the internet before that was even a thing. So it was like...
it still felt like this very, I wouldn't say small, but it still felt like this like underground thing too. You had other brands that were developing at the same time, whether it's, Crooks and Castles, whether it's Black Scale or Rogue Status, like that. To me, that was a very special time in streetwear and for in LA too. It's like you saw these brands coming up.
What was cool about back then is we were all doing collaborations together.
Yeah.
Like every streetwear brand that we thought was cool that we would meet from New York, LA, San Francisco, whatever.
Color, Clarity, Crooks Tea.
Yeah, we were doing like Mighty Healthy.
Yeah.
10 Deep, Black Scale, Hundreds, Huff, fucking, who else was there? Bunch of brands. We were doing Even Reason, like all these kids like that were starting new streetwear brands. We do collaborations with all of them.
Print the shirts. Whoever sells it, sells it. There's no royalty plans or
we would just split
profit sharing or anything.
We would just 50-50.
All right.
Yeah, we'd make the shirts, sell them, and then just split the profit 50-50 with the other brand. And we'd always throw a party. We'd do all this shit. And that kind of like made the new Fairfax and New York streetwear community kind of like a thing.
You want to hear a funny story?
Yeah.
So there was a point in time, I don't know, this is internet confusion too. I think Bobby Hundreds had posted something. Our buddy Topher had made a shirt for Plain Gravy. It said Pharrell can't skate.
Yeah.
So I remember I got super heated. I messaged Bobby or Ben, one of them, I forget. And
yeah, they Topher made it. Bobby posted it online, and Pharrell and everyone thought that it was 100 shirt. And they got mad, but he was just posting his friend's shirt.
If I'm not mistaken, though, Bobby did curate the post and he jumped in on it. So Nick picks me up from LAX. I'm coming to stay with him. He's like, yo, we got to stop by Fairfax. And then on the way, he calls Bobby. Yo, Bobby, I just picked up Jimmy from LAX. We're coming over to the store. He's calling him on speakerphone. And I just remember Bobby just he was probably he probably wanted to kill him. Yo, I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck, yo. But
that's
remember he showed up and was like, Nick, I thought you were bringing him here to fight me or something.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
But that was a good time, yo.
That shirt was funny. A lot of people wore it.
The Pharrell can't skate one, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, that was kind of fucked up because Pharrell did skate.
Well, here's the thing is
Pharrell skated in my era coming up.
Mount Trashmore.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, the thing is Pharrell was so huge at the time. Everybody, and that's what I was saying, everybody that hated really wanted to get, the hate was coming from a point of actually, I wish I could get down with him. And I could peep that from a mile away. I just saw there was a Hundreds BBC collaboration not too long ago. You know what I'm saying?
100?
Yeah, yo. It's
they did a collab
20 years later.
No
it's
way.
Yo, come on, yo.
Crazy. I didn't even know that.
But that was what it was. More or less, it spoke to yo, a lot of these people were way on the wrong side of history.
They should have remade that shirt.
Yeah, because now you have 2023. Pharrell's the creative director of Louis Vuitton, so clearly he was doing something right. But that was what was rad back then. Was you always, you fucked with everybody. So you really embraced us and supported me and took me under your wing and stuff. So that was what was always so cool, during that whole time.
I did feel some kind of way when those sneakers came out.
Which ones?
Ice creams with the diamonds.
Oh, with the diamond and dollar sign?
Yeah.
Just from a branding perspective. I never knew that. You never shared this with me.
No, I didn't share with anybody, but it bothered me.
Back then, yeah.
Because I was like, diamond's my shit.
Yeah.
Right? And then I seen these shoes and it was like diamond and ice cream and ice, obviously the diamond, and cream, the dollar sign. But I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Well, you know what? When they first did put the shoes out.
Then they started making all the diamond shit. And I was like,
but there
was
was
some kind of way because they were like, he's a celebrity. He had way more following than me. And then I'm like, that's my logo.
Yeah.
But obviously I got over it. It was in a different world.
For sure, yeah.
We're like a small skate brand. He's like a fucking celebrity brand.
What was interesting too with ice cream, the shoes came out and the direction was all over the place. The shoes came out 2 years before the clothes came out. And then things a year or 2 years later then got popping. It was these different chapters, but
yeah. What year did ice cream come out? Do you even know?
I got on the team, I think 04. The skate video came out 06, but that's what I'm saying. The shoes came out in 02, 03, and when those shoes came out, they initially just sat on the shelves. It was it went over people's head, so. I
mean, they were
$200
way different.
Yeah.
They were basically like Stan Smiths with a fucking big ass diamond, a big dollar sign all over.
Yeah. We didn't know how to take this shit, And then obviously
I thought they were cool, but I was just mad because there was a big diamond. I'll go do it. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. Whatever. I wasn't mad, but I mean, I felt some type of way about it, obviously.
So then You first store is the small store in Fairfax I used to work at. What year did that open up?
I think 2006 or 7.
Right around the time. I remember I got a call from Alfred Hawkins and he was like, Jimmy, Supreme's opening up on Fairfax. They're looking for employees. Would you want to work there? At the time I was living in Philly. I wasn't out here enough time to accept a job like that. So you guys opened up kind of similar time periods, huh?
Yeah. Supreme was the first ones there. And then the Hundreds had an office there.
Over top where everybody's offices were?
No, where their first store opened.
Okay, gotcha.
On Rosewood.
Yep.
They had an office right there. Me and Chad Shoemaster.
Chad Shoes.
He was like, I think it was his first idea. He was the first one that mentioned it, was that we should open up a hat store. And so then I did a collaboration, Diamond Times Fitted in Hawaii, and they had a store called Fitted.
Yep.
And I was like, damn, we should open Fitted.
Fitteds were big
in
back
LA.
then, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, let's open Fitted in LA. And then I got Stevie Williams involved. So me and Stevie and the guys from Fitted Hawaii were going to open a fitted hat store on Fairfax. And that's when I got the location. The first, which ended up being the Diamond location.
No way, damn.
I got that location. We were going to open the hat store. We're planning it all out. I went downtown one night to Situation Normal. Greg had a streetwear store downtown.
Shouts to Greg, bald head Greg.
Yeah, so I went to Situation Normal and we're sitting there.
It probably wasn't even open, was it?
He was never open.
He was never open.
Yeah.
He had the illest shit in the display. Crazy Japanese jeans, fucking.
Yeah, he made crazy shirts.
Diamond Dallas Page t-shirts. Yeah, and then he wouldn't be open.
He always had sick ass t-shirt graphics. So I remember being there and talking to him, and he's like, "Oh, what are you up to?" Blah blah. And I'm like, "I'm about to open a hat store on Fairfax." He's like, "I'm opening a hat store," and I was like, "What do you mean?"
No way. This is
like,
hella fun.
We're opening a hat store, and it was him and Arson. I think were there. He's like, "Yeah, me, Arson, and Vlad, and whatever. We're all opening a hat store." And I was like, "Damn, I was gonna do a Fitted Hawaii," and they're like, "Let's all do it together." And I was like, I already got the space.
Yeah.
Right? I already got a space, whatever. And then we were talking about doing it in my space. And then, I don't know, like they found another space on Fairfax. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do a hat store. And you guys do a hat store. It's fucking weird. So
we both got hat
what
stores.
do I do?
Yeah.
Right? Diamond's like this small brand where I'm just dropping that shit online. I'm selling to some skate shops. Definitely not a brand with enough gear to open its own store, but I already had the space. So I was like, I'll just fucking open a Diamond store. Everyone thought I was crazy. So I started working on doing the store, and then the Hundreds turned their office into a store. Right. And then Flight Club, was it Flight Club? Flight Club moved in right next door to me. They opened before I opened.
Damn, Flight Club was open before you.
Yeah, they opened like a week before me.
Dude, there was nothing to even eat on that fucking street back then. Yo, you'd have to go to the pizza shop over there across the street from Fairfax.
But I had the space for a year before I even opened. So,
who did the build out for you? The build out was always pretty awesome
I did it. Well, yeah, basically I just hired contractors and then I would just design it.
Gotcha.
So we opened the store 2006. So it was Diamond, Flight Club, next door to me. We all opened within a couple weeks of each other. SLB on the corner.
SLB, yeah. South Store was great.
And then the Hundreds, and then Supreme was down the block.
South Stores would just have like some original, like old schools in it, some like old Levi's from Japan, and like his t-shirts and
he had the
bikes and shit.
He had was it not a Visu? What was the other one? Dragon.
Oh yeah.
The Japanese shit.
Yeah.
Fucking, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I know the guy. I met him when I was in China. Fucking, what are they called? Dragon. Year of the Dragon.
Year of the Dragon. Yeah.
He had all those crazy jeans. So yeah, I opened that store, and that you came to work there. But it was crazy because I had no idea what was going to happen, because I just have, I'm on the Hypebeast forums. I'm on MySpace, promoting the brand, selling shit online. I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna open a store. No idea what was gonna happen, like if it was gonna fail or whatnot. Opening day, hundreds of kids down the block. I was like, what?
And it was like that.
That's awesome.
And it
How
remained.
did this even, like, how is this a thing? Like literally hundreds of kids.
But from the beginning of you doing that, it remained like
awesome.
that every single release, whether it was, I don't know, the mystery boxes or whatever you were doing, it was always a crazy ass line, man.
Yeah. Mystery box.
Mystery
That was
boxes.
another one.
Yeah.
That was crazy. People adopted that.
Yeah.
And they still use it to this day.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't even know how I came up with that. I was just like, we had all these old t-shirts and I was like, fuck, because I was selling stuff online already.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, fuck, what do we do with all of our old t-shirts? And I was like, let's just sell them at wholesale. Because when we would sell to a skate shop, we had to sell the shirts for like $15 and then they sell it for $30.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, let's just put all the shirts in the box for $15 each.
That was a steal.
And sell it. So it was like 6 shirts or 7 shirts. I'd always throw in like an extra thing for $100.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just going to call it a mystery box. So I like started selling mystery boxes online and then fucking everyone else started doing it. Like, and then within like 5 years, it's like even the big brands out there were mystery box. So I made up the mystery box.
That was
that's
it.
sick.
When I,
Like every single brand in the world
Yeah.
has a mystery box now.
when I started working there,
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
08, 09, I feel like at that point you were running the whole distro and everything out of there for a little bit.
We had
Yeah.
everything was shipping out of the back of the store.
Damn.
That was my whole company was right there on Fairfax.
Remember Diamond TV?
Yep. You
So-
started that.
So before, like, I thought it was cool. All of these LA, like, not all of these. There was a good group of LA rappers that would come kick and hold it. They were all, just normal ass dudes, man. Whether it was Dom Kennedy, Casey, Young Bucks that were all up on,
Rick Ross.
Like, so on the weekends, I would literally turn the computer on, like for like where we do all of our purchases and stuff. And I would just press record and someone would play a beat and we would just literally let these guys just sit here and rock out and rap.
Yeah.
So that was awesome, yo.
Yeah. And then we had, remember Dom? We did the Diamond TV with Dom Kennedy and Rick Ross.
Dom killed it. It was more like it almost started kind of not a joke, but like just something very lighthearted. And we're like, damn, this thing is like low key bubbling now. Dom wanted to sign, or no, didn't Ross want to sign
He wants to
Dom
sign Dom
off
Kennedy.
of that, huh?
Yeah. Remember
That's
they're
a
just
trip.
chilling in the store and Rick Ross, he's like, yo, Dom Kennedy, Nicky Diamonds. And this is like,
Yeah.
no one even, he had this, Rick Ross then only had Hustlin'. That was like his song that everyone knew.
So look, Jared,
It
at
was
this
before
point,
Rick Ross was like Rick Ross.
at this point, skaters
He was
aren't
just bubbling at that time.
skaters
just
and
starting.
streetwear aren't really rubbing elbows with rappers yet like that. You know what I'm saying? This, like, to us, rappers are still on another hemisphere, Dom's coming around. I think that's what also too what made ice cream so crazy to people. Like, yo, skaters are running with this huge ass rapper. So, I remember when you did the Rake, when you did the Only Built for Cuban Links 2 t-shirt, I was like, what the fuck? How's Nick how's he know Raekwon,
Yeah.
And then low key, Rick Ross starts showing up. And I'm like, what is Nick doing, yo?
Well, his
I was like-
story, the Rick Ross story is that I was somewhere and someone from the store called me. They're like, hey, that rapper Rick Ross is inside the store and it's a trip because he's just hanging out and he just bought us all pizza. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, he said that he's going through the racks and he says he already owns all these because he was buying them in Miami, right? The diamond shirts.
and rethreading them or something, right?
I
Wasn't
don't
he
know.
I feel like there was a story where he was buying the shirts and then cutting them to, because he was a bigger dude at that point.
No, I don't think so.
Nah?
I think we made up to 4X, but
All
even
right.
back then, he's a lot skinnier
Yeah.
now. But there was a time he got big, but back then it was before he was really big.
Gotcha.
He was big, but he wasn't But no, when he first started fucking with Diamond, I think it was right before Deeper Than Rap came out.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. So the guys called me and said Rick Ross was at the store and he bought them pizzas and he's the coolest guy and all this shit. And I was like, that's sick. I want to meet this fucking dude. So I forgot how, but somehow we ended up linking up and then we did a collab.
I bet you any amount of money it was just at the shop. Because now rappers are like, the big rappers are starting to show up, Jared. They're like, and they're hanging out. What
year is this? 08?
09 now we're talking. 08,
Maybe
09.
around then. Yeah.
I remember sitting there one day and they're like, oh, this kid, he's about to come out. He got a song. He's got a song with Chris Brown that's about to come out. It's not out yet though, but he's about to pop. And this little short, skinny kid that sits right in front. You mind if I smoke this? And I was like, I don't give a fuck. All these kids smoke weed here.
Who's that?
It was Big Sean.
Oh yeah.
You know, like, and that song with Chris Brown hadn't come out yet, but all the kids knew him. You know, that's what I love about.
And then we did the Big Sean collab.
Dude, that's what I love about all of these kids in Fairfax, from Fairfax now, a lot of them are grown ass men with businesses and families and shit. I watched a lot of them come up and like watching how they'd move. Like, I'd be like, dude, kids, you guys can't be smoking weed right here. And they'd be like, Jimmy, this is like normal California shit, dude. Like, what are you talking about? You know,
like, because you're from Philly, you're like, what?
Or like they would
smoking weed. California,
Nipsey would come to the store and they'd be like, yo, Jimmy, this is Nipsey. He's an LA dude. He's hella cool, super respectful. Like, I met so many of these up and coming rappers when they were just like on the humbug on their way up, and they were solid ass kids, Odd Future kids. Like, you know, that was a special time. And it introduced a lot of people, you know, like big executives, music execs, movie people would come there, and it's not like now where like a lot of them dudes, they show up now. They're like, you know, I'm the fucking man. I'm popping. Back then, they were so psyched to be like, you know, finding out about this world that came from skate, came from streetwear, and we would almost be putting them up on shit, you know. So I remember you left. You're like, yo, I'm out. You're like, Ross is shooting a video at the beach.
Oh yeah, and I brought P-Rod.
That's so funny.
And it was Rick Ross and Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
And what's it called? Rick Ross, Lil Wayne, what's his name? Mac 10.
Oh yeah.
And Triple C's. Rick Ross's group. They were all there filming on the beach. I brought P-Rod and he was tripping that he got to meet all them. Yeah, it was tight, dude. That's old school. But yeah, the store back then was crazy. Like all the people that used to come, right? And I just started doing collabs with everybody.
And that's the time period where you really start to see. I saw this jump when you see people like Currency hitting this major stride, Wiz Khalifa hitting this major stride. And then I just saw this growth from all of these artists that are they're on a fast trajectory and they're all doing projects with you. You know, like to see like the programs you and Currency built, I was like, damn, yo, this is awesome. I love Currency. So I was happy to see you guys working together.
My first music collab was Soul Assassins.
It was, huh? Yeah.
I did Soul Assassins with DJ Muggs and Chase Infinite.
Yeah.
He was on it. We made a mixtape and a shirt.
Get out of here.
Yeah, we did that.
I remember that shirt. I have a picture of me.
And DJ Warrior. It was DJ Muggs, DJ Warrior, Chase Infinite, Diamond, Soul Assassins, mixtape, and we did a t-shirt. That was my first music collab that we did. And then I think Wu-Tang Clan with Raekwon was after that.
I know I have a picture of my nephew in here with
we did Rick Ross. Dude, we did so many back then. Rick Ross. Then we did Wiz Khalifa. We did Currency, Alchemist.
The Currency shit was huge though.
Jacka from the Bay.
Jammed.
R.I.P. Jacka. Mac Miller. R.I.P. Mac.
Man.
Multiple Mac Miller collabs. Big Sean.
I remember
before any of these people were popping. This was like when everyone was just starting to like be something back then. We were just like collabing with all these music artists, which actually, I mean, that helped us a lot too as a brand. You know, the first rapper to wear diamond that anybody saw was Lil Wayne.
Damn.
So on the cover of Rides magazine, I bugged out because I didn't even know how we got it, but it was like cover of Rides magazine. It's him and Baby sitting on cars, and he has the big green Misfits skull shirt on with the gold teeth. I looked through the magazine. He's like centerfold. The whole thing's just Lil Wayne rocking this diamond shirt. Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, fucking Lil Wayne's like wearing my shit. And this one, I mean, this is like early Cash Money times. So, yeah, that was what was cool, is that the whole music industry at the time really grasped onto Diamond, I think just because of the name.
And for you as a kid that grew up in the Bay, a skateboarder, you formed this thing as a skateboard company with a skate team.
And all these rappers were fucking with it.
To come from that perspective, to see them bang with it, like that's what I mean. For me, that's what. Anytime I see somebody awesome wearing our shit, that's what I trip out. I was like, yo, we're skateboarders, yo. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like we are skateboarders. Like, yeah. You grew up skating in the Bay. I grew up skating on the East Coast in Love Park. It's like, to see where our idea started from to where they landed at. I don't know. It's a trip, yo. Yeah. That's why I was like, man, yo, I knowing you were coming on today, I was like, dude, there's so many chapters and years and memories.
And that's still way back. That's not even like fast forward to Diamond success. No. Like that's that's when we were just starting to bubble too, with all those artists.
So you have the Dunk come out in 05. Mm-hmm. And, obviously now sneaker collaborations are such huge milestones. What was the next sneaker to come out after that?
For Diamond?
For Diamond.
I did a shoe with that nobody really knew about. Mikael had a sneaker brand.
Passport.
Back then. No, before Passport. And we did a collab with that.
Get out of here.
And said Diamond in Arabic on the back.
Look at Mick is the illest too.
Yeah. So that was our next shoe. After that, I did skate shoes. Started doing DVS collabs. Yeah. I was doing Lakai collabs. Then I didn't do another Nike until
Puma too. Puma was in there.
Puma was after the second Dunk.
Gotcha.
2013 around. We did the high.
And then the Asics with Ronnie.
That was 2014.
That was two of them, right?
Two, black one and the Tiffany color one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Asics one was big. That was the only shoe that I ever made money off.
No way.
In our collabs. Yeah. Because Nike, because to sell Nikes, you have to have a Nike account. Mm-hmm. So that's how when say Huff or Supreme or Concepts or anyone who does a Nike collab, they own their own store, Kith, they could sell the shoes and that's how they make money because they don't pay you for the collab.
Yeah.
So on my Nike Dunk collabs, I never made any money. But when we did the Asics, Ronnie was like, you could sell them at the fucking, online.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit. Okay, let's sell them online. So, yeah, I made money off of those ones. We sold 8,000 pairs online in fucking couple minutes.
That's awesome.
And then he sold 12,000 on his page.
Both colors too? You guys both sold the same offer?
He sold 12,000 pairs online in 1 minute and we sold 8,000 pairs on our online shop in 1 minute. I was like, what the fuck? This is crazy.
Of some Asics.
Yeah, some Asics.
Were you tripping that ASIC that you guys were able to build an ASICs that was, because we're coming.
I had no idea.
That's what I'm saying. ASICs to me growing up was wrestling shoes and maybe some running shoes.
But Ronnie had a history of dropping sick ASICs. Yeah. So that was his
He
thing.
rebuilt that whole thing.
Yeah. So that was his fan base. His fan base was ASICs and it was Diamond.
Yeah.
So they were that was a big thing for us. I
thought it was, from the outside looking in, it was you could tell how
yeah, and then we did a full apparel collection with it too. Shout out Ronnie. He's a monster, is insane now. Because back then is when he was just doing collab drops and Kith was a thing, but it wasn't anything like it is now with all these crazy stores and everything that he's doing now.
Yeah, now it's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, but
so what between the first Nike, between the first Dunk drop and the Canary Dunks, was there any, this is spanning how many years? 10, 15 years?
From
the first one, the Tiffany in 05
to 2018
to 2013 years. So there's no communication with you and SB at this point, through all them years.
Well, 05 and then 2013 was the high.
Oh, that was the high, yeah.
Yeah, 2013 was the high. And then the Canaries, the white diamonds,
and the black ones,
all dropped at the same time in 2018.
That was an awesome moment to see. It felt like that that partnership and that relationship with you guys, like that was like the ultimate exclamation point on this, the idea between the brilliance of Diamond and Nike SB. You know, there just felt like this, like it just completed that whole.
It was Dre's idea, Croatian style, that he's like, dude, let's build a ramp at Complex Con.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to build a ramp. We're going to put all your, we're going to put the Tiffany's in there, and I'm going to bring my whole sneaker collection of SBs, and let's just do a booth at Complex Con. So we built the fiberglass ramp. This 2017.
Yep, I remember that. That was right near your booth.
Yeah, I remember.
We filled the whole ramp with like every Nike SB you could possibly think of. Nike had nothing to do with it.
You could sense it was rogue, but it was like it was awesome that it was like on its own thing.
Yeah,
you know?
We did that. Me and Dre, and it was a spectacle. Everybody came. All the rappers were coming to our booth, all the pro skaters, everybody. I did a collab with Retina. We did the shirts. We dropped the shirts at the booth. Then we had the skateboard ramp with all the Nike Dunks in there. And I think that's what really made people think like, oh shit,
reminded
Dunks.
Them. Yeah.
Like Nike Dunks. Right after that, literally like that week after, the dudes from Nike called me and like, let's do another collab.
Damn.
And I was like, okay, cool. Like sick, like Dunks. And in my mind, I'm like, fuck man, I'm going to make Dunks and they're sick. Like I designed them, right? The canaries, the white diamond, basing them off of diamonds, like canary diamond, white diamond, black diamond, send it to them. Not knowing how it was going to go. Then I was like, fuck, let's just drop them at Complex Con.
Yep.
So I made a booth with the big Nike SB box, and then I made the big the mirrored diamond that was spinning around, and we dropped the shoes, and it was a fucking frenzy.
Damn.
Right? It was like riot, everyone tripping off of these Dunks, and I was like, oh shit, I guess Dunks are back.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone bugged out on that. Never were able to sell them because there was a riot 2 days in a row over the shoes at Complex Con, and they had to police escort the shoes out of the building.
That's a trip.
And people were like rushing the police trying to like grab the shoes out. They're like wheeling them out. So crazy. A week later, we rented that jewelry store downtown.
That was awesome, yo. That was really cool.
I remember going there. Yeah.
I remember pulling up and being like, damn, like I got anxiety seeing how many people were like waiting to get in there. And I remember parked across the street, walked over, and Shafiq or somebody got me in, and I was like, then to be, that was such an awesome store that you had picked for it too. Yeah, just like it has that old.
Yeah, we just found a random fucking jewelry store downtown. We're like, let's drop them in there. We paid them for the day, and then again, huge crazy line outside, and then Nike SBs were back, right? Like everyone bought those, and I was like, fuck, that's crazy. Yeah,
that's it.
And then
I remember.
And then after that, the next release, like a few months later, is they dropped the Travis Scott Nike SBs. Maybe it was a year later. No, maybe it was the same year. They dropped that, and then that went crazy. And then I think that just Nike, like SB, now all of a sudden the shoes that were $200 are now $5,000.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone went Nike SB crazy.
Yeah.
But I could say me and Dre set it off with the ramp. We set it off with the ramp at Complex Con.
And it just like, it's such a special time in sneakers. It's such a special time to me. Nike SB, anytime I think of Nike SB, I think of that early group. I think of Richard, Gino, all them shoes, Supa, your shoes, Uncle's, like Huff shoe is, it's just a pinnacle moment in sneaker culture. It was so big for skating, and then to see it all come full circle 20 some years later is pretty rad. So I still have those canary shoes.
Sick. Yeah, it's 5 years ago already.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Damn. So we got to do another one, SB.
Yeah.
But in terms of sneaker collaborations, you have an awesome relationship with Puma.
Lots of Puma.
A handful of shoes that have come out. one's coming out very soon that I really like.
Next week.
Well,
26th.
I hope I can get my hands on a pair.
I got you.
You do?
Yeah.
Can you show me what they look like at least?
Yeah, I'm wearing them.
Oh, you have a box with you too?
But I brought you some. Well, I brought these for you. But no, we've done 20 shoes with Puma.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Yeah, over the years.
Gotcha.
But this is our newest one, which is nothing like we've ever done before, which is probably the most comfortable shoe I've ever put on my foot.
Amazing.
But yeah, and they have the idea behind this was they hit us up and we're like, it's Puma's 75-year anniversary this year, which is the diamond anniversary.
Oh, there you go.
So I was like, fuck, let's do the diamond anniversary shoe. So here it says right here, 75 with the diamond.
There you go.
75 years. Has the diamond on the tongue. And then, yeah, I was just like, fucking.
The shoe looks very comfortable.
Designed the colorway and I love those.
I mean,
I wear them almost every day because they're like mad comfortable.
Damn.
So I've never had shoes. We've never done diamond shoes like that.
Damn.
Where they're like runners, but like.
Dailies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're super comfy. Yes. So I love those. I think they're super dope.
I really, you know what I always really admired and tipped my hat was the footwear chapter of Diamond Footwear. Cause that's people don't realize how hard that is. They don't realize how expensive it is. They don't realize all the things that go into it. I mean, the level of competition that is like that you're trying to compete for on sneaker shelves and like the level of dedication that you put into it, the team riders that you put on, like you guys were able to do some really awesome things, man. So, it's a hard world to live in, yo. It's like, it's like, we know what's out there.
We did Diamond Footwear for maybe not even 5 years, I don't think.
Get out of here.
We did it for a while, but,
between
super time consuming, super hard.
Man.
I think we designed like a lot of sick ass shoes.
Yeah.
We ended it for no reason.
No way.
There was literally no reason. It was killing it. It was doing super good in all the skate shops. It's just at the time, Diamond as a brand in general was going so crazy that we just didn't have a lot of time for it. And it was just expensive. We're spending a lot of money on tours, videos.
Team riders.
Skate team was expensive. We had like sick dudes on the team that were expensive.
Yeah, B-Boy. You had Tori.
Yeah. Jamie Foy.
Like.
Ooh.
Yep.
We had a great time.
Yeah.
We traveled the world with these guys doing the whole sneaker thing. It was super fun.
The video, was it the intro video with Matt Williams where there's guys were nose blunt sliding a huge block of ice?
Yeah.
I was like,
that was for Ben Trill.
Okay.
That all happened. Virgil called me one day and he was like, "Can you help me do this brand?" And I was like, "What do you want to do?" Because
this is Ben Trill.
Yeah, he was doing
Pyrex.
He was doing Pyrex, but he wanted to do more of like a regular priced brand. So he asked me if I would do Ben Trill with him. I didn't have the capacity. So he took it to PacSun.
Gotcha.
And then they did, PacSun did Ben Trill with them. We did a huge collab and that was pretty awesome. And now like Matt's like big fashion designer now. Virgil became a big fashion designer. Aaron Preston was part of it.
I have
too.
a great Iben story.
Aaron has his own brand.
I got to save the Iben story for another episode. But the one Iben story I always will share, and I think I don't know, it's just such a special moment to me, and I don't know, just to culture in general. Remember, it was a Saturday morning, 2011, 2012. You're like, we got our first collection with Iben coming out. It was the hats. It was a sick tee. The hat was a sick. I wore the hat forever.
And the shoes.
Yes. Yeah, it was for the shoes. I'm sorry. For the chuckle with the wings and stuff on it. And I would cruise up, and sure enough, it was you, Iben, and Virgil, and myself. We kicked it all day long. Like, watch Iben shoes.
We have a picture of us in the store all together with all the Iben Jasper shit on.
It's so cool, yo. Like, those pictures mean a lot to me. I remember walking out the store and like Earl and Tyler are just kicking it outside. They're still, they're still just regular schmegular kids on the come up. Like, I don't know, that was another chapter in Diamond. That's like, when I look back, it's like, it's so cool, man. You've done a lot of stuff with a lot of people. You've helped contribute to a lot of people's careers and to the community and to skate and to me personally. So that's why it was so awesome to have you on today.
Well, thanks.
Just to share everything and really just say thank you, man. Because I know, we all got families and lives and businesses now. And, what you did for me back then, the way you opened up your doors for me and the things that you opened me up to. And,
well, it's through you.
Well, thanks for always supporting, bro.
That's where this all goes back.
Thanks for always supporting Diamond, bro. You would
Nick,
always rock Diamond. I was grateful for that.
I'm going to end it on this note right here. So I want to make a pair of sweatpants. I don't know how the fuck I almost left this out, Jared. Thank you for reminding me. I want to make a pair of sweatpants. I think I had already seen you helping out Eli with his stuff. So I was like, I called you. I said, Nick, I'm going to come over. You're still at Cordova.
Mm-hmm.
That was the street it was on, right?
Yeah.
So I go over there. You're like, Jimmy, I want to introduce you to somebody. Young lady comes into your office, Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly goes, I have just the person that can help you make the stuff. She connects me with him.
Oh, crazy.
This is 2012.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I come down here. I show him the Supreme sweats I want to make, the same Supreme sweats I took to you. He samples them for me. And it's 2023. We've been working together ever since, yo. So if it wasn't for me coming into you to see you that day, it's like,
yeah.
So that's
incredible. I love Kelly.
This whole, this you being here and us getting to talk about all this shit is like, it's almost therapeutic, man. It's like, I have some of the most special moments in that haunted ass house you bought on Barham. Remember that haunted crib, yo?
Crazy.
That was the first home you ever bought?
Yeah, and it was definitely haunted.
What the hell?
I didn't know it was haunted.
No,
after, but everyone had crazy moments there, and people would like sleep over and they'd leave in the middle of the night.
I'm never coming back here.
Yeah,
again.
That shit would happen to them in the house.
Yeah, that's a trip.
Fuck, but I never saw anything.
You didn't?
No, nothing.
And I just always be like, you know what? Nick is so in the zone, and
people had all these stories about my house and like ghostly things happening.
Yeah, she's like. He's mine.
Yeah. He would leave me, he'd be out and I'd just be at the crib and I'd be like, man, something.
It wasn't just like one or two people. It was like almost everyone that would stay at my house would have like a crazy ghost story, something happening to them. And I was like, what the fuck? I ended up moving, but I never saw any ghosts. But everyone was like, dude, this dude's house is haunted. Like, like people actually seeing ghosts.
Yeah,
too.
it's so
like
crazy.
Visually seeing shit.
When you bought the house,
I was like, what the fuck?
I feel like you told me this. When you bought the crib, did the neighbor not tell you something like that? Like
exactly. I found out after I moved. After I moved, I asked the neighbor. I was like, I was there for some reason. Maybe it was when I was moving out. And I asked the neighbor, I'm like, who lived here before me? And they were like, oh, like, something. They didn't tell me, but they were trying to say like something happened there that was crazy. But I didn't know what. They wouldn't tell me. And I was like, okay, well, it was like fucking mass murder. I don't know. Yeah. But I guess the house was haunted.
There were times where I'd be like,
really freaky shit happened.
Like this
there.
ain't like this.
Stories from people that I had staying there would tell me crazy shit. I'd be like, fuck, man.
That was
how come I didn't see this?
Yeah. Nothing. I never saw anything.
It was just a product of like how fast everything was moving back then. I bet, you know what I'm saying? Between your life,
I was busy.
Business,
I was doing shit, but I'd always have people staying in my house and they'd literally leave. I've got multiple roommates that I would have move in, or people that I just come have live there for free. Within like 2 weeks, they'd move out.
Remember Charles? Charles be doing work. Charles would just take off. Charles would be at the crib and he'd be like, yo, I'm not finishing this job today, Nick. Like, and I get back from skating like, what? It's fine. And then Nick would go out.
You see anything?
I could feel it in there for sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for sure. He had that.
So weird.
You had the big living room, like the family room where I would stay in, and like I'd hear something in the kitchen, and I'd be like, yo. Remember Thomas left the middle of the night. He was gone. Yeah. He was like, I'm not stepping foot back into that crib. Little Thomas.
I always be like, what the fuck is up with the house?
Yeah.
That's so funny, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
People like had like one kid, he said that he he came running in my room in the middle of the night.
Hassan, right?
Hassan.
Yeah.
He's the one that made the Iron Maiden shirt. So
Hassan's one of the illest graphics.
me and him did the Iron Maiden shirt together in that house. That was one of my most famous shirts. That was his idea. And then what's it called? He came running into my room and he's like, bro, were you just in my room? And I was like, no, what are you talking about? He's like, dude, like I was laying in my room. Cause at the time his door, for some reason, when you'd push it in, the latch wouldn't latch onto the hole in the side of the door. So it always like
slide
open.
out.
So he put a piece of wood in there to keep it closed. He's like, yeah, I was laying on my bed with my back turned and I heard the wood fall and I was just tired, man. And I like, you know, I thought it was you. And I was like, what's up, dude? You know? And then I swear you sat right next to me on the bed. I felt you sit next to me on the bed. And then I looked and you weren't there. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? And then another time. So he freaked out about that. And then literally maybe like 3 days later, he's fucking calls me and he's like, bro, I'm fucking moving out. And I was like, why? He's like, because I had my laundry room was you had to walk out the side door and then the laundry room was
in the back.
You had to walk down and it was in the back. Yeah. He's like, dude, I was doing my laundry and like I felt something behind me and I heard somebody say something. I looked and nobody was there. So it spooked me. And he said he started walking back to the house and he looked behind him. He said that he saw like this mist of like gray following him down the thing and he like ran in the house.
Who else? Remember Chad lived with you?
I was like, what the fuck, bro? That's crazy.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it was a trip, yo.
But it wasn't just him. It was like multiple people.
Where was
these
this?
crazy stories.
Off
Near
Cahuenga.
Cahuenga and Barham.
Yeah, every time we drive past the street, I'm like, Devin.
I forgot the name of the street.
That's where Nick's haunted house was right there.
Yeah, right there. That's
it was
crazy.
a nice ass crib too, man.
Yeah, he moved out and like he was gone. He was like, I'm never going back there again.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy, bro.
man. That is crazy.
I was like, you fucking, what are you on? Fucking drugs? Like, but then it was happening to so many people that I was like, I guess it's
I would come and be like, I'm not smoking no LA weed while I'm there. Cause between the weed and this crib, this is a lot to be dealing with, yo. But those were fun times. But yeah, anyways, yes, thank you for everything back then. Thank you for creating this relationship with
right
Jared
on.
and myself, man. We
unknowingly created an awesome clothing brand. Two.
Thank you. Two awesome clothing brands. So.
Right on, guys. That's
my
cool.
man. Well, shit, I know you got a busy day. Thank you for everything, Nick.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming.
This is awesome. This means a lot that you came through. So,
hell yeah.
My man, have a good day. All right?